Okay, so while I'm talking, I'm gonna do a little bit of work because I still gotta glue this thing, and I got ready this plastic bonder 15 minutes by JB. I read the instructions there, and it says it's good on plastic and on steel and some material. So I'm hoping it'll work on aluminum, painted aluminum. I already painted it. Well, maybe I should strip it, huh? No, there's a gap. I'll do this 15 minutes. It gives you plenty of time to do the job. Sometimes, if you don't have nothing to do when you're retired, that's gonna be kind of difficult. So you need to have a hobby. And shooting, every time I go to the range, especially if I go during the week, some old guys that they make their own loads and they go shoot them. I met a guy that he likes cigars, and like I've said before, if you have your health, enjoy it and do things you like, because once you're all decrepit and you can't really get around, then you're really screwed and you can't really do anything else. I met this guy. I've seen him and I met him a couple of times. They see my channel. He goes to the same place and he drives a Jeep and he takes this lady. I don't know if it's his wife or his sister, but she's got a high pitched voice. She goes, "I know that guy." She's in the back of the Jeep. I never seen her, but I've heard her voice several times. And they go together and they have a great time. They go camping, they go hunting, and I believe he lives in Riverside. All right, we'll put this up to dry here. I should put it in the sun, huh? So he said one time, "Oh, I seen your channel. I seen your." So if you're looking at it, buddy, I don't know your name. I say hi, and congratulations on your last deer. That was a nice deer. Big antlers, tall. They were. It would come out like this, and then boom. And he had another guy with him. But when you go with people that have the same passion for the sport, you enjoy it. You enjoy it better. Mr. Comfortable, I don't invite anymore because it's either one thing or the other. It's a cold. How long you gonna be? And he don't want to stay for 4 days. There's always some excuse why I said the hell with it. Even to go fishing, he's asking me what time you're leaving. And I say, well, if you want to catch any fish, we have to be there early in the morning, 6:30, maybe 7, and that's still early for him because by the time you got to get to the boat at, let's say it's 4:45, it takes 10 minutes or so or 15 minutes to get to the barge and get your bait. And then it takes another half hour to get to the spot because I don't go full bore, I go at a moderate speed. And sometimes I go on the breakwater, inside the breakwater. Sometimes I go on the outside breakwater. And we get to the spot, and then we start. Before we get to the spot, I slow down and I say to people, okay, get your trolling, your jigs ready. We're going to troll. And, they tie up their stuff and boom. And then we troll to the spot. And sometimes, boom, we get a hit before we get there. You got to go early. You're not going to have any success showing up there at 9 o'clock in the morning. You might get some bites, but you're going to get a better chance of a bite earlier. And he still is complaining about it. I say, you know what? This guy's an armchair adventurer. He doesn't do anything. He just armchair home. I took him to Wyoming with my cousin and another guy, and those two guys were always arguing. I said, "You guys married?" They were always arguing with each other. This guy is very stiff, very argumentative, and the other guy, let me put it this way: if you wanted to have a drive, you would take him because you drop him off on a place, and he'll make any noise, every noise there is, plus talking, pushing deer, and then okay, you can use him for that. But to sit quietly, will move around and shift and get up and look, and I said, dude, the deer are gonna spot you, then they're gonna come this way. You gotta sit down. Oh no, no, this place, I wanna move over there. And I wanna go to the other spot and I wanna do this. And I said, dude, you know, it's not gonna work that way. You gotta hunker down. You gotta get to the spot early for fishing or for hunting, either way. And you gotta sit down and wait for the deer. And then I took another guy one time that, man, that guy would talk. He would not stop talking. The whole trip. On the way back, I already had a headache because he was just telling me these are the type of guys that they live. They're married, but their wife is off to work. He's already retired, and he's got so much bottled up in him that he just wants to pour it out with anybody. And I said, hey, and he just telling you the troubles of people he knows and or the kids or his life or you name it. And those guys you just can't take hunting. One time I took him fishing and he was complaining that he wasn't catching the right kind of fish. And I said, well, this is not a market that you can put an order on the hook, send it down, and they're going to send you the fish. I mean, if you want, this is fishing. This is about fishing. If you want fish, you go to the market and buy the fish. Fishing is you catching whatever bites, and if you don't like it, you put it back. You throw it back. He wanted the bigger fish. We were catching calicos, good sized calico, good eating, and some barracudas. You can make good ceviche with barracuda. I think it's the best meat for ceviche is the barracuda. But how come we're not catching anything bigger? How come this? I said, man, I don't have no control of it. I can control the boat. I don't have the control on the fish. And he kept complaining about this stuff. And I said, bring your own boat. He had a boat anyways. I said, bring your own boat and you can go anywhere. He wanted to move here and wanted to move there. I said, no, man, this is the spot. You just have to have the patience to sit there and fish. Every time you move, you're wasting gas and you're making noise. I take that guy either. So I ran out of people to take to either hunt or fish because, well, no, for fishing, I have a very long list. All I have to do is start making calls and I'll get a full crew in a matter of days. It's just everybody has a schedule. They got to do this on the weekend, or they got to do that, or they got. For fishing, I got a lot of people. For hunting, all the old guard, it's already done. And the guys that love fishing, they were fanatic about fishing and hunting. Those guys are gone. Diseases, cancer, accidents, they're gone. One guy says that he don't want to hunt deer anymore because he wasn't that old. He was in his 50s. And he said, I want to hunt feather, meaning birds. I'm going after the feather, the pheasant and the quail. And I said, okay, fine. I'm not going to push you into any. If I go with a couple of guys that they like the hunting, if I see a deer, I'm shooting it because I have people to help me take it out. It's a very physical sport. Still do it, not as strong as I used to be, especially climbing mountains and stuff. But I can still do it at my own pace. I can still go in there, backpack, set up camp, take all the gear I need, and then go in and hunt the spots that I know there's a better possibility of seeing a deer. Problem is, I've let deer pass because they're monsters. And then I started rethinking my technique, and I said, instead of everybody wants the biggest deer, I said, okay, instead of going for the biggest deer, let's start hunting the smallest deer. But I want a decent rack on the deer. I'm not going to kill something like this. And there's a lot of people that shoot deer because it's got the legal. I'm talking the size of my fingers, which are not big. That's to them, it's a trophy. No, those are trophies. Decent trophies. To get that antelope in Wyoming, we were driving around We saw this herd, and we got off the truck, and the antelope from has a an eyesight magnification 9. I read this in an article, meaning that when they see you a lot closer than when you actually are. So let's say you're at 200 yards and they see you, they think you're at 50. Because if you get your rifle and you bring it up to 9, and the picture, you know, brings it in really close, that's the eyesight of an antelope. So to get close to him, we dragged ourselves through this gully, muddy gully. And the mud in Wyoming, it's like soap. It's sticky and slippery. So we were kind of crawling on our four hands and, dragging the rifle. And we went to a spot where was a little dirt road, and there was a pipe. And the pipe was kind of tight and had a water running through it. And I said, no, I'm not going to get in there. So we kind of really hugged the ground over that pipe, came down the other side and kept going. And the animals weren't looking. They were kind of munching away. So when we kind of peered over the edge and looked, he was close. He must have been, I would say, 60, 70 yards. 270. Easy shot. So I told my buddy he had a 30 at 6, and he was going to get up, and I stopped him, and I clicked it. He had it on safety. I clicked it off. I said, dude, you have it on safety. So then I said, okay, take a look and peek and see which one out of the 30, which one you're going to shoot. I said, I'm going to shoot the one here. There was some sort of a pipe coming out of the ground about 3 feet high, and it had a cap on it. And I don't know what that pipe was doing there, but there was nothing else around it. And I said, I'm shooting at the guy closer, the animal closer to that pipe. Okay, he goes, okay. So the minute we got up, they looked up, and I just went, boom, and shot him. And my magnification was at 4 because he was very close. Apparently he had it at 6, and he couldn't spot the one he wanted. And when I took the shot, they all took off and ran. And by the time he found the one that he wanted to shoot, they went and went on this gully network that they have. It's like a below ground freeway. Once they hit that gully, they just run away, and you don't see them anymore. But they're there, but you don't see them. But I did get mine, and I shot him. And this is the guy. Beautiful. 14-inch horns with white tips. I don't know if you can tell the white tips. The guy that did the heads, he blackened the horns. And I said, why'd you do that? He goes, no, because it'll last. And he put in some polish or something for antlers, for horns. The antelope has horns. The deer has antlers. And he was 8.5. In the Fish and Game, when inspected it, he said, you got him just in time because he wasn't going to make it for the winter. He was at the last month of his life because they don't last to 9 or 10. And I said, good. I feel good about it because he lived his life full term. And I got him just before he died of natural causes. So, good trophy. Oh, dragging the antelope back through the ground was kind of muddy and stuff. So I slipped, and I pushed my rifle fell, tip down, hanging off my shoulder, which was facing down, and it dunked into the mud about that much in the mud. So I just went like this, went like that, cleaned it, and kind of like cleaned the tip of the rifle. But I knew I had some mud in there. I said, well, I'll clean it when I get to camp. On the way back, we see this 9-pointer with a 6-pointer that had really good mass on these antlers. And they were about 100 yards from the road. So I stopped the vehicle. This guy wasn't really, he got nervous, and he was leaning against the vehicle in the front of the hood and then the back of the truck and then back to the hood. He never took a shot. So I saw that the deer were already bouncing and they were ready to take off. And I kept yelling this guy, shoot him already, shoot him, they're getting away. So I grabbed the rifle, opened it up, took out the bolt, grabbed my rod with a little patch, ran it real quick, got the mud out of there, put a bullet, close it up, one bullet, close it up, opened the door, and put my lean on my knee and shot the 9-pointer. Back then I thought it was an 8, and he fell. So then the other guy never took a shot. The other just took off. And when we went to pick him up, he was still alive. And what I had to do is that my friend was studying to be a vet, and he knew the anatomy more or less. And he says, I grabbed by the antlers, and I kind of straddled him and sat on him, just trying to calm him down, pet him, and saying, whoa, and he was just kind of looking, and he was already dying, but I didn't want him to suffer. So he told me, bring the leg up, and at the end of the elbow, down on the side of the chest there, that's where the heart is. Or maybe it was the lung, I'm not sure. And I grabbed my knife, and I drove the knife in him all the way to the handle, because it was a short knife, a hunting knife, and he died. Then we backed it up, the truck, and put him on the basket. It was very heavy. I mean, he's got massive chests. I measured, they're 19. Look at the size of this thing. Nice antlers. That makes it a 9. And very, very big body. Very big body. Even though in the camera doesn't show, but this, from the bottom of the chest to the top of the back there, that's 19 inches. So he was very massive. He must have weighed over 200 pounds, or 190, pretty close to it. The antelope, also, very nice trophy, white tipped. And then this one is from California. The hair on this deer is very smooth compared to this one. This is kind of a little roughy, a thicker coat, and very nice color, very smooth hair, and also a good rack, 4 points, and it has a little point there, so you can make that a 5-pointer. Because according to the rules, if you can hang a ring, a finger ring on the tip, it counts as a point. But I've never counted it as that. Then I went to a private ranch that they had these animals brought in from I don't know where. I shot this Angora that has very long horns. The same on the other side. And very white, very smooth hair, very fluffy hair. And when I shot him, the guy that was from the ranch, we were driving around in a quad, a tandem, and he went down to pick him up. When he was hooking up the winch cable, or the rope from the winch, he said, he yelled, because he was down in a very steep area. He said, "Hey, there's another one here that looks like he's dizzy." And he's standing up, but he's dizzy, he's not moving. And I said, "Well, can you get to him?" He goes, "Yeah, he's right here." So I said, "Go ahead and finish him." So he got a Ruger 22, he shot him in the side of the head, or in the back of the head, I'm not sure. And it dropped him, and they hooked him up and brought him back up. And this is a Ramalais, it's a ram, got a full curl, that goes all the way around And then it comes to the side here, and the same thing on this side. And the body, you know, this is wool, all white. And it turns out that what happened was that when I shot the Angora, the bullet went through him and hit this one, but we couldn't figure why was he dead. And in there, just, you know, dizzy. Well, it turns out that when we took him up to get it cleaned, there was a kid there that he would clean the animal for $10. I say, have at it. They hang him up, skin him, gut him. And then when we started looking at the body, we the bullet that went through the Angora went through the ram's asshole and shot him. That's why he was just standing there, because I did hit him with the same bullet. So I shot two with one bullet. That was kind of weird. And very good trophies too. That ranch closed a few years back. They also had wild pigs, and they had what they call meters, you know, big pigs, 300 pounders. So we went with a group of people, must have been 5 of us. Everybody caught one thing or another. A friend of mine caught a pig. Another guy caught a ram. Another guy caught a Catalina pig, real pretty. I mean, you know, he looked like one of those Spanish bulls, you know, the chest sticking out, the horns straight up like that. They didn't curl. It's a different type of goat, and that's the story. I mean, that's what I do. I don't shoot deer for the sake of shooting. I like to have the trophy, and they retain the memory of the hunt. It was a good trip. Me and my friend, we get along good. I don't know what happened, if he became a vet or not. I haven't seen him in a long time, but he was a cool guy. He was very easygoing. Not the other guys that I've taken, that they're very problematic and they are arguing all the time. And these two people, it's like, man, why you know, leave it alone. Just so if I go with a couple of guys that I can bring the deer, I'll shoot a deer if it's decent enough. I'll do another video, and I'll show those antlers I got up there. I do want to mount them on a little shield, because mounting the heads now is very expensive. Back then I paid $200 a piece for each of them. I know that's not gonna those prices are gone. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.